This is your weekend market recap for Friday, July 29th, 2022. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at EXPI Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your daily market recap for Friday, July 29th, 2022. Let's get into it. Another amazing week. Good stuff. People are following their plans, they're executing their trades. We're giving you guys great information to hopefully trade off of, and we're trying to be really unbiased. A lot of people who have been shorting absolutely getting murdered. We warned folks. We tried to be thoughtful of what's going on. Again, keep in mind the market is a mechanism to take the most amount of money from the most amount of people. If you are making mistakes and you are doing things that are losing money in this market and you're not seeing what's going on, please stop by the Discord room. Check out the link in the description below. Follow up with me. Again, the market is a mechanism to release liquidity and to take money from traders. Remember, long-term stuff, not so much traders. And so if you are not doing well, there's probably repeating patterns, things you're doing that leading to this. And again, we are probability-based. We don't believe in anything in certainty. We always know what the market's trying to take our money, so we always have to be thoughtful of the market makers. What are they doing? What are they trying to do? Let's get into it. Bitcoin, talked about it, back testing, breakout, nice work, holding up. Again, got it. Now you see the level. I mean, this is why we talk about layering in, layer out of trades, because the levels usually present themselves. Now, are they perfect? Not always, but here you go. Sometimes you get the blowout, and then you get a retest, then you go higher. Sometimes you get the blowout, you get the retest, and then you go higher. It's not a simple game if you're long-term trading always, because the bottoms and tops are not V's. They're typically W's, M's, head and shoulders patterns, things that we talk about and reference in the Back to Basics series. Now what with Bitcoin? It seems logical. You're probably going to get up to this 25,000 in range. You need to get into this zone to really To really go much further. It's really that simple. So if you have any questions, again, think about what you're doing. If you are chasing it, dangerous. Never chase. Talk to people, never chase. If you bought down here, your stops are here. The more you up the layer, the more you're out. Keep in mind, I don't trust Bitcoin, gold, or anything for long term. Keep in mind, the market will have another down leg. This is a bear market rally. Everything. Oil. Again, talked about getting up into the 100 range. Nice back off. Now, we'll see what happens. I'm trying to warn people, please do not be too quick to short anything, because guess what? If the market's going up, everything is going to lift higher. Just remember that, especially with oil. We'll get into oil a little more later, but let's get into it. TLT, interesting action. Long wick backed up. Still light volume. Still think you're getting into the 120s at some point. Just be patient. If you're wondering why we got into it, since this is the monthly, let's look at the monthly candle. It reminds us very much of this action, I would say, in 2007. You popped, then you dropped again, and then the wipeout. I think that's what's going to happen here, because interest rates going higher will signal inflation and the market to drop later. It just doesn't always happen at once. So my anticipation is pop, then lower later. Keep in mind, if you're trying to refinance or lock in rates, I still think the best time to do such will probably be in the next couple of weeks, months, and then after that, 1970s and 80s inflation. Oh boy. And higher rates. That's my guess. I mean, there's no way we can get out of this debt mess without devaluing the dollar. Seems rather scary, actually, but it is what it is. That's why we try to anticipate it, trade it, and act upon it. UUP, dollar. What do we say? Blowout. Again, you're wondering why. Again, levels matter. We talk about this all the time. Again, if you were just reading articles and setting your levels and putting hard levels like, oh, it has to stop at 29.96. No. That's why we do bands, typical thicker regions. Well, look what happened. Got up there and you backed off. Now what? Look at this. A support zone. They're zones. They're not lines. Zone. Probably holds the 28s. Then it goes higher. You got problems, right? Remember, I said a million times, the dollar goes much higher to end the dollar supremacy. Just remember that. It goes higher first. Well, look at that. The VIX. What did we say? What did we say weeks ago? What did we say up here? At some point, you're coming back down to the trend line, because guess what? If it's a bear market rally, it's going to come back to the trend line. Now, again, not to yell. I'm just playing. But my point being is what? Now we're here. What now, Dan? Well, what did we say? Probably could even get down to 20. Market has to get complacent first before it goes lower. Just keep that in mind. There's no V top, V bottom. And if it does happen, it's out of news, out of nowhere. Well, how do you predict the news? You don't. You don't predict the one-off events. You just trade with what you know. And if something happens over the weekend where China invades Taiwan and the market dumps on Monday, you couldn't have predicted that. Hence why we talk about layering out, taking profits, getting more to cash the market, it rises. The more the market rises. Well, at this point, what I'd like to see is the market make new highs, but the VIX also pop too. Hold this area. Again, I think you can start layering into puts. Let's talk about the levels. People said, oh, you said 410 to 415. Yes. But guess what? Remember I talked about the art of trading. Please watch the video and back to basics, because what is the one thing that we talk about? Levels are not guarantees. You have to look at the environment around you. We talked about novice gaps, and yeah, it looks very looks similar to this. Would blow out down. Well, we talk about it all the time. What is probably the most obvious thing the market needs to do? Unlock inventory. Where is the most amount of sellers and buyers trapped of reference levels? This area, the 411 to 423, I guess, but I'd say more 415 to 420, like above this level to the 420. I don't think you're going to get much higher. It's more like this area right there. Let me just drop this down. Yep, there you go. You can see it. That's as high as I think we can go. Now remember, what do we talk about? How to pick tops? How to look at the sentiment, look at the news. Probably over this weekend, you're going to see a ton of articles about the recession's over. It's in the rear view. The market's going higher. Yada yada. You got to get in. All these people in cash are chasing. What do we say? Watch the last 3 and the first 3 trading days of the month videos. Again, they're all in the back to basics. It takes 3 seconds to search them on the channel, or they're in the Discord room. Link is in the description below. What do we talk about? Topping during the first and last 3 of the months. Look, here was the top, right? Here was the top in January. Here was the top in May. You see how this works? New money's going to come in. It's going to get sucked into the market. People are going to get bullish. It's going to chop, and then what? Failure. Now, when does that happen? I've thought about this a little bit over the afternoon, talking to a few people. Probably pops early week, another retest with the jobs number. Now, is the retest up, down, or lower, high, higher, low? I don't know. Again, have cognitive awareness of what's going on. Do not be too quick to short, please, for the love of God. Now, again, I believe the short is the play to come up, because we are wiping out bearish sentiment. That's the goal. Get that done. CHIPS Act pass, good. Got that done. Earnings, basically over. Got that done. Now what? The future. So scary. Well, keep in mind, we're in a bear market. Inflation's going higher. Oil's holding up. It's not transitory. Feds are going to have to raise rates. Anytime you see the word pivot in the news, take note of it. Because it's time to pivot bullish. Are you freaking serious? We talked about buying down here in this area. And now the news is going to tell you it's time to buy. Wrong. Time to sell, time to buy, time to buy, time to sell. You see how this works? You're the target. I'm the target. They're trying to take our money. That's how the market works if you trade. So at this point, now what? You start looking for shorts in the 4, again, up in this blue zone, somewhere in there. Let me just actually expand it to the 420. Somewhere in this range is my guess, okay? Okay? Man, remember, repeating pattern. What do we talk about? Extreme, double dip, and pop. You see how there's just repeating patterns? We talk about this all the time. If you can't identify them, it means you're not doing what? You're not studying the past. I tell this to people all the time. Study the freaking past. Everything is a repeating pattern. Everything is known about the markets. Patterns. Everything. There's nothing new in trading. Okay? That's why Livermore book's so powerful. It was written in the, 1930s or whatever? It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter how old it's literally the same stuff, same people, same idiots trading, whatever. I'm an idiot too, if you want to include that. Now what? Well, the monthly candle painted. Let's take a look at it. Well, look at that. It's going to look like a engulfing bar going higher, right? 20 month. Where's it at? 420s. Also, too, look at the highs up here. All these wicks in the 415, 420 range. Let me open it up for you. Let me zoom it in. Somewhere in this range. Max height. Could fail here. Could fail here. We don't know. Next week, there you go. Maybe the week after, start looking at shorts. I'm telling you, remember we talk about straight line action ends the move. Straight line action ends the move. Straight line action ends the move. Straight line action pullback. Straight line move bear market. Okay. Chop precedes the next move. Chop precedes the next move. Chop precedes the next move. Chop, chop. Do you see that? Chop before the drop, chop before the pop. That is my favorite saying because that is what happens. If you get a V, well, guess what? It's not what? It's not the probability. It's not the high probability game. It's a head and shoulders MW pattern. We talked about this. Now what? Just set your alarms. Look at your stocks. We're gonna go through them. The Qs. Thought 315 would be the high, somewhere near the 100-day here. Looks like it's going a little higher. Let's expand the zone. That is not what I wanted to do. Hey-o. There you go. There. This 0.32. I mean, it's running this channel. It's interesting. Anywhere from here and up. Here, there's the long-term trend line, 322. Maybe it gets there. Maybe it doesn't. That's the hardest part, right? You don't know. That's why you layer in, you layer out. We talk about third, because it can make a higher high, a lower high, or an even high. We don't know. We just want to be somewhere near the top, remember. Because if it backs up and chops, the day that it starts, it could be a professional gap. And then it's like, oh, crap, you missed it. Maybe it's just a big meltdown day and you're not there. You miss it. Again, it's really easy to short up here. Take your time. Really easy to buy down here and be safe. Now, again, what month options? I'd go at least September, maybe October. This action could get scary. That's all I'm saying. Watch out. China, Taiwan, inflation's not going down. The pivot, this whole word of pivot. How can you pivot with oil and gas near the highs? Commodities still overpriced. Demand destruction. IWM, we talked about the 187 level. Maybe it gets right back up here to like the 190s. Again, you are hitting your targets. Be aware of what's going on. Remember, we need bearish sentiment to turn bullish. It's probably going to happen pretty quickly because guess what? Bears are dead. Only people surviving now will be bullish, literally. So please, lay off the UVXY. People want to buy it. I'm like, please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Just wait. Just wait. There'll be a time. And again, you can be late. Just whatever. Or not. Just trade other stuff. Gold. Happy for my gold friends. Talked about probably getting up into the 166 range. This is the old box. Let me just drag it over. Look how it played out today. Doji up there. Again, this is why people are like, you missed the bottom. Well, volume typically unlocks the bottom. Non-volume events are retest or going lower. Get excited for about a couple more days, maybe a couple, I don't know, weeks. I'm telling you, gold is not the trade. Long term. It's a trade. It's a trade. Remember, the best time to buy gold, we talk about every video, was in what? October 2008. In the market, the first real pivot, because we're not pivoting. The Fed just raised rates 0.75%, 75 basis points. That's not a pivot. It's when they actually cut at that meeting. We're not at cut point. And they might not be able to. That's the problem here. And so then that becomes a point where then inflation is known and it will go higher. And gold will go higher. But one of the things you need volume. We need to unlock volume. That's how we know we're at the bottom, folks. Silver, same thing. Best time to buy it is what? Capitulation, bear market. Here you go. Phew, COVID. Then chop for years. 2008. Whee! Okay, you get it? We're just not at that point. Again, it's oversold bounce. We talked about it for weeks. I was like, you can't just sustain down. It's going to bounce. We hit the bounce zone in our little blue dot, potential support zone. And look at that. Pop. Good. Cool. Awesome. Great. Now what? Said be careful when you get up into the 19s. I don't have much faith beyond that. GDX. Newmont is just acting like crap. I don't know if you're going to get up to the 28 level. I don't know. That's all I'm going to say. Again, when's the best time to buy the miners? Hello. Wipeouts. Rip back. October 2015. That was just the gold bottom, but here you go. Fall of 2008. Literally, the pivot. And it did great, even though the market went lower and lower and lower. Keep in mind, it can do that. But the Fed is not cutting rates, okay? They are not cutting rates yet. Anyone telling you pivot, they're pivoting. They did not pivot. Nothing. No pivot yet. GDXJ acting way better. Talked about it. Probably better JNUG. We talked about that because Newmont sucks. Or the reaction recently sucks. Worst case, best case, probably 50, 35, 36 range. Know these targets. But please, I'm going to reiterate this again for the 1,000th time. If you have large gains and you have large positions, you need to layer out. The more it rises, the less you own, because at any point it could just give it all up. At any point, it could chop out, and you don't know if it's the top. And then what? Could pop and then flop, but you never know. The hardest part is, say your body, like say it's a big chop zone. Here, hold on. Let's go back to the past. You don't know if it comes right back. You just don't know. Look at this. Sloppy, choppy action. Comes right back. Again, notice how the bottom in September. Thinking the same kind of thing. This pop is cool. It's got a little bit of volume. It looks like some short covering, naturally. Accumulation, probably. I mean, that you have to think about long term. Maybe the bottom is somewhere in the 20s. We don't know. But we will know when it bottoms because everybody will give up. Like, again, I just hate social media, again, because I think the social media structure for financial information is well structured to literally take your money. All these people who seem to have huge followings, which is crazy to me, they're not good at predicting anything other than buy Bitcoin, buy gold, buy silver, buy the miners always, buy uranium. And guess what? It is probably blown out more trade. Again, 99.9% of the traders who come into my Discord room go, I bought all this stuff and it went lower. And all of this stuff referred to the stuff that we're talking about. And it was like, well, why did you follow someone blindly? The price action is your guide, not what I say or you say. No, we do what the market is doing. We do what the market is doing. Yep, 50-day on AG. That's just the point. Like, again, I hope this pops. I don't have faith in it. AEM. Now, this one is, put this on your radar. Put on your radar. This one's acting really well. That looks like a long-term bottom setup, but guess what I'd like to see a W. I'd like to see a retest. I'd like to see a lot of things. Is it going to get bought out? Maybe it does, and I miss it. But ultimately, miners are best bought, what? With the wipeout. But this is interesting. I mean, you got to notice the volume. Let me zoom out. You can see it's definitely not too bad. It's not, 2008 and then higher volume, but it's not too bad. It's definitely above average. Somebody had stopping power recently. Somebody had buying power there recently too. Keep that in mind. Looks like it will be one of the names that you own going forward. Look for it. Let's Newmont. Again, this is why I don't trust the GDX. It is acting like crap. Gap down on earnings. Bigger lock in volume. I've said this ever since earnings. It's probably coming into the 200 month and the monthly trend line. It seems very logical. 43s at some point. Please don't buy it. NFGC, like this company. If Sprott's making moves, he's made me rich before on other trades. He likes this name. I like this name. Now, again, I know there's got unproven stuff, whatever. Something will happen. Will we get a retest? I will buy. Buy. For the Kramer fans out there. Ton of Kramer fans. Kramer's the best, right? He literally is the best. Best trader ever. Goldman Sachs, well hired. It was better to send him out in the world to pump stocks that they want to sell than to be a broker. Duh. PAAS, talked about it, popping, nice, double doji, probably get up to 50-day. Again, don't trust these names. I don't think they have much further. It's just like the market. Same thing with VALE or all these material names. I'm happy they're bouncing. Is this a novice gap though? That's what I'd be worried about. Novice gap, run up, novice gap at the highs, right? Novice gap at the high. Not really there. Little baby one there. Yeah, novice gap. Oh, novice gap there. See this? I mean, you see this reoccurring theme of novice gap, island floating. Well, we'll see what happens. Again, I think it's shot beyond what I thought it would, which is cool. I mean, again, I'm not shorting any of this stuff. I'm happy for anyone who owns it. But I repeat, the more you're up, the more you take profits. Sound good? Nucor. This one shook us out and went right to the moon. No, it pulled back. We said if it holds, you said, watch this level. If it gets over, it's going higher. Hey, look at that. Going higher over the 100-day. Now what? But Dan, it's a bull market. No, it's not. Find your reference points. There you go. There it is. Again, give or take. I mean, throw this line in there. Hold on. Just so you can see like it's a zone. It's a zone. Duplicate. There you go. That's what I'd be looking for at Nucor. At this point, more you're up, less you own. Oh, but I got to get that last dollar. Got to squeeze that juice out of that dry lemon. Well, guess what? I have done that 1,000 times and lost more money waiting for the last dollar versus taking gains when it was easy. So just always be aware. I will always advocate for being out early versus late because late can be absolutely destructive and give back tons of gains. Because you never know if you get into it and all of a sudden it just gaps down on you. You know, you're like, oh, it looks great, and then it goes bam, bam. Yeah, VALE got to get over the 20-day. I think it's stuck. I mean, anything that's not doing well now probably isn't going to do great. It could do a little better, but not great. Oh, CCJ, so much great news. Should be ripping higher. What do you see? Doji. Again, like this stuff long term. Please do not get me wrong, but I do not want to buy this for the long term. But then it's going to 100, 300, 500, maybe. But it's probably going to go to 16. It might get cut and 40% off later because a bear market takes everything down. It all goes down. Just remember that. It's about to go down. That's just the nature of the beast. Again, we talked about it. Hold on. Here's a reference of chopping into a trade. Chopping into a trade. There it went. Held. Now you're bounced. I don't know. I don't know where the top's going to be, but I would say this. Take your profits the more you're up. That's all I would say. It's just so simple, but so hard to execute. I know. You just want to get every penny, you greedy little kid. Give me all that candy. Got to eat it all and rot my teeth. No, I mean, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. It's like I'm just making jokes. But the seriousness is that like we literally devolve into children with the mentality that we have to get every penny. And if we don't, we're disappointed, we're unhappy. And it's like you got a piece of pie and you wanted the whole pie. And look what happened. You made a mess. It spilled on the ground and everybody's pissed. That's what happens sometimes in trading. You just devolve down to like greedy little kids. I mean, I guess it is psychologically our basis. Arrow, talked about it, holding eights. Cool. Bouncing. Sweet Jesus. Sweet dreams are made of D's. Yeah, probably the 50-day. We talked about that. And again, could this all go higher? Yes. Yeah, of course it could. But again, like the juice in the market, if a rising tide lifts all boats, this is what I was saying earlier about commodities on the Discord room. They seem to have topped last. Are they bottoming last? Okay, well, then the market flips. This bounces last, then the market fades. It topped last, and the market went berserk lower. Interesting concepts? Maybe. Mosaic, we talked about this. Getting the 50-day. Again, it's not as cool as CF. It's acting okay. It knocked me out before it went, which is cool. It's just not as stellar as this. Like I think CF looked way better, but today it kind of lagged. So red flag. Here's the volume we talked about. Like stopping power. 80, 78 to 95, 20%. Pretty solid. Now Mosaic has gone from like 40, what is that? 44, 43, 42 to 52, which is a good percentage. But again, if I have to pick the two because I'm playing options, I'm playing points over percentages all day. Just keep that in mind, because if you do play calls and something goes up 15 points and you own calls on something with a strike, then it goes up only 8 points, 9 points. It's not as good. You're gone, especially when you get those deltas and you get the deep in the money calls. You get that delta. You get that delta, that point for point rise. I love that. CF now at the 100-day, looking a little tired. AMD. Nobody listened. Nobody ever says, "Hey, Dan, you were right about anything." No one. I don't know. I don't get a lot of yes, you're right. I get you're wrong. Well, let's just keep talking about things that we're right on. What do we talk today? The CHIPS Act was coming. We saw it. We said semis or conductors were going to bounce. Literally called the bottom to a T. Why? Because support equals resistance. We got lucky. It hit it. Oh, gosh, that's not it. You can see the blue zone as I zoom in to your future. Now look, it bounced. And what do we say? Probably the mid-90s. Oh, but it broke your trend line. Not surprised. It broke it last time and got to the 100-day. Maybe you could even get up to 98. If you don't take profits, your profits will get taken. Son. SMH, we called this one again. We're buying this in the what is it, 80s, 90s? No, what was that low? 190. We're buying it down here. Bought the dip. People went crazy, and then it went higher. Yeah, they couldn't do it, but what do we say? Professional gap. Oh, it backed up. Professional gap off the bottom. You don't know if it's doing this, and if it backs up, even better. Because here you go. You do it. Sometimes you back up, and then you went. There was a trade here. Either way. Now we're getting into what? Highway to the danger zone. You're coming into some, I don't know, let's just make the 100-day. You're coming into some resistance. Could we get up into the 250? That's why I said, like, the major upside is, here you go. Let me just drat. Can you drat at for me? Yeah, I can drat at. There you go. That is your upside du jour. Let me draw this for you. There you go. Well, that's such a wide range. Well, again, the market is super, moving fast. It can move fast. I just warn people that, like, that's where you got to be like, oh, okay. That's why traders markets are traders markets. They're great. They go fast. That's what they do. If you like volatility, come hang out in our room. We love it. Absolutely love it. I eat it up. Eat that shit like cereal for breakfast. I don't know. I don't really eat a ton of breakfast, but yeah, that's what I do. It's like bacon. I love volatility. Love bacon. How about that? You love bacon too? I bet so. And then you'll learn to love volatility. It's just an acquired addiction. No, but in general, like the market is what? It's moving fast, bigger points. This was not a surprise. We talked about anywhere from the 50-day, which now seems rather low, up to what? The 100-day. And this channel, you're there. Please, if you've got money in the chips, notice Nancy Pelosi took her profits. Did you? Oh, I got to hold out for that one more dollar. Got to get me that dollar. Yeah, okay. You go right ahead, bud. All right, Meta. A lot of people are like, why are you trading this stock? And it's like, it is an absolute crapper, but guess what? If the market's bearish, this should have broken down. And every time the day opens down and it closes at the high of the day, means every person who sold was wrong. So that means a tendency of what? Bullish markets. Now, I'm not saying it could go up to the channel high now at this point because the market is already juiced. But I'm watching it because I need to know. I need to know the market is not, what? Breaking down. If this breaks down, the market probably breaks down. It doesn't, great. Apple, again, trade it. I don't want to chase it, but we talked about, is this going to be a novice gap playa? Novice gap playa. You see a point here? Here you go. And my point is ultimately what? We're getting into the extremes. You're getting into the extreme positions. If you own Apple, you better not hold this thing forever. Please be safe. Please. And I know I'll just talk and someone will be like, no. Could it get to the trend line? I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean, I've come to this like realization with folks that you just tell them, be careful. And they're like, yeah, got it. Professional gap, back up. Again, how do you get bullish? How do you get bearish the market when literally Apple's going from 130 up to 164? Warn bears, like, what planet are you on to be shorting this market consistently? Now, again, if you were tactical for a couple points, no problem. But to layer into swing and long-term shorts. Oh, where's that meme of Doogie Howser? What's his name? His, when he's older and he's got the gun in his mouth and he goes, pow, when he falls over. You guys have been killing yourself, but you're not watching the market. I don't get it. IBM, some folks are in this. Holding up, talked about it, holding down here. Man, it really whacked me and then went. That's what it does sometimes. But remember, I talked about this. This stock held up very well. Keep in mind, the market from November was down. This is actually up. Someone knows something to not allow it to drop. You have to remember that. That's like got to be a red flag if you're bearish, the stock, because it's holding up. Roblox, we talked about, it needs to get over 42. It really tried today. Tried pathetically. If it could get to 50s, that's not ideal. We'll see what happens. It's just, again, raise your profit, raise your stops, raise your whatever. Raise capital. If you own Roblox and you're expecting 50, which seems logical, but if it doesn't come, do you want to just hold it and let it ride down to 35? No! You got to take some profits here. Raise your stops, okay? Tesla. Oh my God, this is getting so juicy to short. So juicy. Man, bulls are just, got to get in it. We talked about this range. Well, guess what? The market went higher, so you didn't short. Dan did not short today. We took no shorts. I have 0 shorts. I have long TLT and what? I got some long meta. That is all I got. I am trying to layer down and just watch. Watch the market. 909, probably higher. Knowing Tesla will go slightly higher than the moving average, then fail. Again, but you do have a nice, what? Novice gap. Little one, but I want to see what's hard is it can do this gap game and watch. Chop or gap game and flop or gap game and tight. See, again, this gapping up formation is an exhaustion of the up. It's no different than gapping down. Like, people don't get it. How do you know you're at the bottom? Well, you gapped down and made a higher low. Well, it chopped up and now it's running. Good grief. Is it that hard? Yeah, it's hard to be patient through these days. I know that. Man, people are like, what's it doing today? It sucks. And it's like, well, I told people, don't short Tesla. Don't short Tesla. And actually what's funny is I did short it the first time here. Took it down for like 30 points, and I left it alone. That's a tactical trade. But I didn't marry it. Most people want to marry. They're looking for they're looking for love. They're looking to marry their bachelorette or bachelor. That show is terrible, by the way. And now what? Let it run probably 900s. That seems logical. If you were trying to step in front of the freight train, do not be surprised when you get what? Run over. Okay? Okay? Yes. EXPI. Talked about this stock. It's dead money. Fundamentals matter to be higher, but if you bought it at 11, it's at 15. You did great. I don't trust any stock. None. No stocks. No trustee for any of you. None of that. Why? Because again, in a bear market, until the Feds pivot, if someone says the Feds pivoted without looking at the history and what's going on, I will come to your house and waterboard you. You're just man, you were really just eating up the news. And the news, as I say, is what? The noose. The noose. UTHR told you to sell it up here. I'm telling you, put XBI on your short list because retail loves biotech, baby biotech. And I'm telling you right now, oh my God, the baby tech needs capital. In a bear market, baby tech gets no capital. Baby tech goes to the basement. The baby of baby tech goes into the trash with the bathwater. It goes goodbye. And again, the baby tech, this is one of them. I guess I'll just throw XBI in for fun. Notice too, this is what is crazy. Remember how we talk about see the action before and let it precede itself? Or like really so? Why can't XBI rise? Well, remember we talked about retail loving it. Absolutely loving it. Man, I need to clean this chart up. Absolutely in love with it. And now what? Ooh, double bottom. Look at that. Double button. And now chop top. If you get another pop to 85, call me, text me, send a carrier pigeon, send a raven, whatever the hell it is. We will be shorting or watching this for a short. I can guarantee that, okay? Carrier pigeon would be ideal, all right? I appreciate people understanding that this is not acting well. If it does one more little pop-up, probably should drop. That's the one that I am 1,000% sure. Because why? Everyone loves biotech. I mean, look at the stock twits. Everyone's trying to find the next baby bio to blow up. And the problem is that it's going to blow up in their face. It's like Wile E. Coyote. Pow! Where are we? Oof, oil. Sneaky oil today. Talked about it. Probably would go higher first. Look at that. Popped up, closed at the lows. Dan, that is a bearish signal. Yes, sir, it is. But what do we know about previous bearish signals? You got chop tops. Chop top. Chop top? You remember? Chop top. Yeah, exactly. Broke the trend line. You are broken. Now what? All right. Next week, you see another pop in oil. If the market looks like it's going to turn down, keep in mind, it's really hard to short this because this is what, look how crappy it looks. Again, it opens high, closes low, open high, close low, open high, close low. But goes higher because what? The market's going higher. Do you see that? Do you see why I'm like, you got to be careful shorting? Pull up UNG. This is making me really nervous for the bears. Oh, my God. Look what it does. And pop back. Look at this action. One down. Big action down. You get a little bit of, where's a good volume down? Again, volume relative. Down. Doji back. Holding. Here's the problem again with natural gas. Because people might start looking at this as a cup and handle. We need to look at the retest because we know it has choppy action. I've said it multiple times. If you traded it, congrats. But if you bought the cold and you're holding it, KOLD, endlessly, please just be careful. If it retests, do not be surprised. Do not freak out. Do not panic. But just know that might be coming. It's high probabilities. When the probabilities are high for something, guess what? Right? Guess what? It probably happens. Stop trying to bet on the long horse. Long horse, the long shot. I was thinking of the racing. Obviously, you guys know that. Let's just be careful. It's a beast. Look at this. Oh, that looked monstrous. Boom. Oh, and then boom, and then boom. Double top. You see? Let me draw what I think. Again, I should have probably been more clear on this earlier in the week. I apologize if not. It's probably going to be that. Okay? Probably going to be that. All right, that. You know that, right? Yeah, there you go. M. Here's the second M. Thinking of it as the Tetons formation. Hee hee. All right. What do we talk about Exxon? Let's get into XOP. Someone bought Gush today. Why were you doing that? Chasing it? You know better. Novice gap. What do we say? Pray it gets up into the 140s. Just pray. Because again, we talked about shorting it, but guess what? Open the high, close the low, doji, indecision, goji sandwich probably. The XOP will rise if the market is going higher. Do I have to say it again? XOP will go up if if the market goes higher. You get it. ExxonMobil, that's you know what was on my mind. We talked about love to fill this gap. Oh my God, I remember somebody was like, I'm buying October puts down here. We're like, please don't. Please don't. Well, now what? You're back. Back streets, back. All right. No, look at this. It's back into now the upper gap. This is, oof. Now there's your reference. Probably a C note. The good old Benjamin Price for the stack of ExxonMobils. No, that's probably it. Now, be aware next week what's coming. Again, please check the Stock Traders Almanac. The seasonality for August is crap. It's crap for tech. Could commodities hold up? I don't know. That's where I'm worried that like the market could start peeling. Not Exxon, but UNG and oil could be the reason why the market starts cracking, because maybe something stupid happens overseas. You see how we're trying to, really try to predict what's going to happen? I don't know anything for sure, but the stuff is holding up and now rallying when previously it didn't. Someone knows something. They always do. It's just amazing. Open at the high, close at the low, but make a higher high every day. That is the ugly way to run an uptrend, right? But it is making higher highs and lows. Pretend these candles are just all green. But, they're red, Dan. But they're all going higher. The art of trading. Check it out. You'll probably dig it. All right, I'm going to try to work on some notes this weekend for you folks. I don't want to go over all these other oil names. I will say check out EQT because this is a little... Where is that thing? That might be that might be the chop top, like your confirmation. Like if you can find that in the mid 40s there. Again, if you have any questions, please, real estate, talk to me. Anything about it. I'll guide you the best I can, even if we don't work together. I can just like if you trust me for your deals and trading, I know a thing or two about real estate. I'd love to help you out. Use as a referral. Just like Zillow, when you click on their website, they take 30% for find an agent. I will charge less to find you the best agent possible. And ultimately, guess what? Hopefully you have 2 agents. I help you with the deal. The other person does too. We work together. You tell your family how well you did buying houses in your 20s, 30s, and 40s because now you are living the good life. Because guess what? You have passive income, and your rent on the property you bought in 2022 when you paid $500,000 for it is now worth $3 million, and you get paid $300,000 a month for it. I don't know. Maybe for $50,000 in rent. Because again, inflation, it's the best hedge. You guys know it. We all know it. People need places to live. They don't need gold, silver, Bitcoin, stocks, bonds, gold, dollars, whatever. They need houses. They need houses, need a place to live. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Peace. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.